Hi, in this episode, we'll take a look at a hike in Shropshire, England. Hi, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Hike It for How. It's the Mortimer Forest and Ludlow Castle route. You can find it on the AllTrails app. We're going to start in the forest and make our way around to Ludlow Castle. We'll make a correction after missing a turn, take a detour into Ludlow Market area and wander around a little, looking at a couple of the old buildings just before heading back. Okay, so let's get cracking, make our way through the Shropshire countryside and get to a start point. Hi there, so here I am just outside of Ludlow and we found a lovely spot here. It's Mortimer Forest. We're going to have a hike around here. You'll find it on the AllTrails app on a beautiful April sunny day. Okay, so it's hiking boots on and away we go. Just be aware that sometimes the woodland car parks close a little earlier in the day. This one closes at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so if you're heading out later in the day, just be aware that you may need to park your car outside the gates, or else you're going to be stuck and you'll be walking a long way home. As we take our first turning off the gravel path, things get a little bit squelchy underfoot. If you're doing this hike after some rain, then you'll want good boots, because some of the pathways on this hike are also bridleways. They're doing some forestry work up here at the moment, and there are some of the paths that are closed to the public. However, although I'm going through them, I did see a gentleman at the beginning down by the lodge off camera, and he did say it was safe to ignore the signs today because they finished working for the day. So, oops, a little bit off track, but we can soon swing back round. Okay, let's get back on track. Okay, and I think that's the way I meant to have come down. So back on track. Now, as well as being careful underfoot when walking in the forest, looking for trip hazards, etc., you really do have to look above as well, because previous storms can leave hanging branches, and it only takes a breeze sometimes just to release them, and so always look out for those overhead dangers. We're now going to make our way down this last little section here towards the road. Just being careful on this road, as it can be quite busy, so just keep on the grass verge only a short distance just before we turn off. It's a bit slippery down the bank. And just up here, this last set of road takes us to the Whitecliff Common. This is the last little wooded area just before we get to Ludlow. Once we've gone down these steps, we can look to our left and we'll see the castle up there on the hill. And now it starts getting really interesting. It's just down here we have Dinham Bridge, a 19th century Grade 2 listed structure with arches, and it's begging every passerby to get their camera out. Take a shot of the bridge with the castle in the background, and if you don't have your camera, don't worry, you'll find it on lots of postcards and media. And now the cream of the crop, we get to Ludlow Castle. Ludlow Castle is a ruined medieval fortification in the town overlooking the River Teme. The castle was probably founded by Walter de Lacy after the Norman conquest and was one of the first stone castles to be built in England. During the Civil War of the 12th century, the castle changed hands several times between the de Lacys and rival claimants. This was then further fortified with a great tower and a large outer bailey. In the mid-13th century, Ludlow was passed on and the new owners rebuilt part of the inner bailey. Roger Mortimer acquired the castle in 1301, further extending the internal complex of buildings. Richard, Duke of York, inherited the castle in 1425, and then it became an important symbol of the Yorkist authority during the War of the Roses. When Richard's son, Edward IV, seized the throne in 1461, it passed into the ownership of the Crown. So just leaving the castle for a moment, just thought we'd have a quick look around town and see some of the stunning black and white buildings that are scattered around. At this point you may want to stop for a coffee or maybe a drink in one of the many pubs. Ludlow has somewhere in the region of 500 listed buildings, and the Feathers Hotel here is one of the most recognised, with its stunning carvings dating back to 1619. St Lawrence's Church has foundations dating back to the 11th century. After its initial construction, it was expanded and rebuilt in 1199. It was then just about rebuilt between 1433 and 1471, taking on the perpendicular style which was then preferred in the 15th century. As we head back to the castle, I want you to cast your mind back to the Feathers Hotel and ask yourself the question why it's called the Feathers Hotel and why it has the Welsh Prince of Wales feathers motif carved all into its woodwork. Well, Ludlow Castle was chosen as the seat of the council in the Marches of Wales, effectively acting as the capital of Wales, and it was extensively renovated throughout the 16th century. Ludlow Castle was held by the Royalists during the English Civil War of the 1640s until it was besieged and taken by a parliamentarian army in 1646. The contents of the castle were then sold off. With the restoration of 1660, the council was re-established and the castle repaired, but Ludlow never recovered from the Civil War years, and when the council was finally abolished in 1689, it fell into neglect. Henry, 1st Earl of Powys, leased the property from the Crown in 1772, extensively landscaping the ruins, while his brother-in-law, Edward, who later held the position of the 1st Earl of Powys, bought the castle outright in 1811. A mansion was constructed in the outer bailey, but the remainder of the castle was left largely untouched, attracting an increasing number of visitors and becoming a popular location for artists. After 1900, Ludlow Castle was cleared of vegetation, and over the course of the century it was extensively repaired by the Powys estate. That's where we came down, and I think this is the path back. I think that's enough history for one day. Let's see if we can find some stunning views and hope it's clear enough. It certainly is all uphill on the way back to the car. And the stunning views, they make it so worthwhile. And the more you walk, the views just get better and better and better. And there we have it, a lovely hike, just over 9 kilometres. Had a bit of everything in it: water, castles, forests, some history and stunning views. And please don't forget to subscribe, as it really does help the channel out, and I hope to see you out there.